We're on lesson 17. There are probably 3 of these lessons that are run from by most Christians. One of them's a family because they feel quite like the failure. And another one is wine and strong drink. Another one is soul-winning one because it's so convicting. But wine and strong drink is something that is absolutely necessary for a Christian to actually know about and settle, because if you're constantly dipping into the world's coping mechanism, that's what alcohol is. It is a legal drug that throughout history has only brought ruin. People say they can handle it, and maybe you can, but for every one who handles a few drinks and doesn't become a nightmare, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, there are thousands who do, and it is something that the Christian has to understand. And so we're going to look at Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 1. Let's go there. The book of Proverbs chapter 20 in verse 1. I want you to see the actual way the verse is written. It's at the top of your book there, but it says, wine can be a mocker. Is that what it says? No. All right, so one of the attributes, the characteristics, one of the things about wine, not even whiskey, but wine is a mocker. Who does it mock? The drinker. Wine is a mocker, and now strong drink is raging. When you move to strong drink, it has not just mocked you, it is now dominating you. And whosoever is, and what's the last word? What's that next word? Okay, so alcohol will trick you. Alcohol will seem like, just like the cigarettes in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, everybody was deceived by advertising that a cigarette was not going to harm you. And it took decades to finally sue all of these cigarette companies, and I'll make the connection in just a second, to get them to finally say it's killing people. So, but generation after generation watching Hollywood thought cigarettes were safe. So, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Now, if you drink as a Christian, will that send you to hell? What do you think, Joanna? No. Okay. No sin can now send a Christian to hell. Okay, but I will say this, there are sins that will send you to heaven sooner. Okay, and it could ruin your family, it could ruin your mental capabilities, it can ruin your liver. So it doesn't affect your soul to an extent, but it does affect everything else. So don't be deceived by it. So let's start with the introduction. Bill, would you do A?
The Bible has never been unclear about the important issues in life. The problem is always that people play ignorant instead of taking the time to search the scriptures for the right answer, for how to live and what is right to do. This is true with what we are about to study.
Now, who said search the scriptures? Who actually told us to search the scriptures? Jesus did in John 5:29, which is what he's saying, 5:39. Okay, so we're supposed to not trust the leaders, not trust our church. Are there churches that say it's okay to drink? So maybe I should follow my pastor, right? Let me get my glasses here. Did they know to get them or not? So the culture says it's okay to drink as long as you don't drive. So B, Geraldine.
B, wine and strong drink have plagued mankind from the time of Adam and Eve's fall in Genesis 3 up to today. It has affected even the best of people. See Genesis 9:20-22. 9:20. And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brethren without.
All right, so who got messed up, who got affected, let's say it that way, with wine?
Noah.
All right, so we can talk about all the reasons why Noah would get drunk. I just want you to understand, the fact is he did. And it actually affected one of his sons and affected their descendants. And the idea is drink did not leave them unhurt. So last part of B.
So,
Or if you want to read the words there, if you want to read them again.
Yeah. Where Noah began to be a husbandman, he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken. And he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father. So began the sad tale of alcohol's influence.
Yeah. All right. Joanna, C.
This study will show that the correct use of wine and strong drink is not to be in moderation, but only as a medicine. It is definitely not for social entertainment or pleasure. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich.
Wow. All right, we'll go and look at that.
He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich.
Okay, so one of the dangers now, oil there is not like petroleum oil, diesel or fuel or anything like that. In that culture, at that time, the heat was unbelievable, 50-degree sun. And so they used oil. But can you imagine bathing in oil? He that loved the luxury of oil, he that turned to wine for pleasure and just wanted to live the life of luxury will, what is the last part? I'm looking for my word there. Shall not be rich. You're gonna waste all your money. Pleasure sucks away your money if you're not careful. Number D, Bethany.
From the very start of the study, let the scriptures make it very clear that wine is a mocker, and strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise.
Okay, we don't have to look at Proverbs. That's where we just read it from. Go ahead.
It is not an issue of whether wine can become a mocker when abused, but that its very nature is mockery to the Christian life, and that it deceives all who think they can handle it.
Okay. Declan, E.
This study is designed to present God's view of wine and alcoholic drink. You will need to fill in the answers to the questions from the scriptures presented. Please study all the scriptures presented and then fill in the blanks.
All right, so A, Jeremiah.
Different kinds of wine and alcoholic drink.
Right, did you know there are different kinds of wine?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to actually look at that. The Bible says sometimes the word wine, and you got to figure it out, is it talking about alcoholic or non-alcoholic? Go ahead and do 1 and A.
Squeezed from grape.
Well, no, do 1, sorry.
Oh, did you know that there are 2 types of wine in the Bible? A, squeezed from grape, simple grape juice. Luke 5:37. And no man put new wine into old bottles, else the new wine will burst the bottles and be spilled, and the bottles shall perish. But new wine must be put into the new bottles, and both are preserved.
Now, most people, when they come to that verse, they spiritualize it and they talk about what Jesus is getting at, which is the new birth. But a bottle, right? Now, a bottle back then was not a glass bottle like a Coke bottle like we have, or a milk bottle. It was actually the skin sewed of an animal. Sometimes it was a stomach of an animal or whatever. So if I have what's called new wine, Jeremiah, and if I put new wine into what's called an old bottle, Jesus said, why don't you do that? Why not? Why put new wine? Why not put new wine into an old bottle according to Jesus?
It'll break the bottle.
Why? Okay, Declan, what do you think?
I've never known, I've never understood that.
Good. Okay, anybody else want to take a shot at it?
Unless the new wine, I don't know, maybe it expands or something.
Good.
Maybe, is that
It's
it?
called
Okay.
fermentation. All things decay. Okay, some decay better than others. Wine has a decay process. If you control it, it becomes alcohol, and if you get it going for long, it become 4%, 5%, 10%. It becomes very, very strong. So you put new wine into an old bottle. After 6 months, if you go for a long time, not 6 hours, but you go for a period of time, that will expand. An old bottle will break wine. Now we go to the old bottle part.
Why? Because it's already gone through the process of previous wine, and so it's weakened, I guess.
It's not just weakened, it has stretched, and if you cause it to stretch anymore, it will burst. So Jesus is just using a very common thing of you put new wine into a new bottle to allow it to stretch. And so, is new wine alcoholic? No, all right? It has not fermented yet. Okay, most people don't get that. They have just like, what is this? So most churches and most ministers come along and will use this and say, oh, it's the Holy Spirit coming into, stop it. Before you talk about what it applies to, find out what it means, okay? So we have new wine. Number B there, Gleb. What's the other kind of wine?
Fermented, alcoholic, great drink, Luke 5:39. No man also having drunk old wine straightway desireth new, for he saith the old is better.
Now, would that be true?
I mean, for them, because it's alcohol. Because if it's alcoholic, it feels better.
It's what you want.
Yeah,
I mean, do you know why I drink coffee?
it feels good.
Yeah, because of the drug. Somebody says, "Oh, this is decaf." I go, "It has no kick. It's very hard to enjoy." Okay, I like a bit of a kick in the morning. Get me going. It's just what I've had there. Okay, thankfully, it's not a prohibited drug. But here, when these people listen to him going, yeah, we kind of like the old wine because it's got more of a kick. All right, well, this kind of a kick actually intoxicates you. So, Bill, do the paragraph.
Which one is that now?
That's after B.
The word wine in the Bible can refer to fermented alcoholic or unfermented pure grape juice. The word wine is a general term. The surrounding context of each verse tells you which kind of wine God is talking about.
So if you read the word wine, can you tell me, in the Bible, can you tell me instantly, without reading anything more, does the word wine always mean alcoholic?
No.
No. So you're going to have to use some thinking, and go, all right, let's look at the context. Let's do number 2, Geraldine.
There is also a drink referred to as...
Let's go back to Proverbs.
Proverbs 20, verse 1. Verse 1, wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whoever is deceived thereby is not wise.
Okay, so what's the other kind here?
Strong drink.
Okay. Number 3, A and 1, Joanna.
Let's not in detail at each of these 3 drinks. The fruit of the vine called new wine, juice of the grape. It is not found in the fat, but in the plant. Isaiah 65.
Okay, to the right.
Thus saith the Lord, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one saith, destroy it not, for blessing is in it. So will I do for my servant's sake, that I may not destroy them all.
Okay, so what produces new wine according to that verse?
The cluster.
Cluster, all right. So what's a cluster?
I don't know.
Grapes.
You ever
Grapes, yeah.
You ever picked up a punnet? That's what they call it now. It's a basket of grapes. But when you pick the whole branch up, guess what's it called? It's a cluster of grapes. So where do you find new wine? It's in the fresh grape. It's in the grapes that haven't even been squished yet. That's where the wine or the grape juice comes from. So it's not in a vat. You know what a vat is, Joanna? Good. A vat is one of these big barrels that they would store Sometimes it's barley. Sometimes it's grape juice, things like that. And they would mix sugar in, and they would add yeast. And then they would seal it up, and they'd put it down in a basement somewhere so they could control the temperature and let it sit for 3 months or whatever. Let it ferment. That's called a vat. And if you ever see the movies where people go and they're drinking, they'll always go to those big barrels and open it up, and they'll get their ale out of there. But that's a vat. So we don't find new wine in a vat. We get it from the cluster of grapes produces new wine, okay? And so finish your words there. It is
fresh from the grapes, simple juice with nothing added.
amen. Number 2, Bethany.
God's people never drink alcoholic wine. Deuteronomy 29:5-6. And I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes are not waxen old upon you, and thy shoe is not waxen old upon thy foot. Ye have not eaten bread, neither have ye drunk wine or strong drink, that ye might know that I am the Lord your God.
So what was not happening to their clothes,
They weren't getting old.
and what was not happening to the bread and to the wine that they had,
They weren't.
it
fermented
never
or-
fermented. So they're eating fresh, unleavened bread every day for 40 years. Okay, and if they waited for an extra day, it didn't become fermented. It got infested with worms. So God never allowed it to ferment. Okay, you got another verse there.
32:14. Butter of kine and milk of sheep with fat of lambs and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape.
All right. So if you've ever squished a grape or had the black grapes, not the white grapes, but black grapes and really rich black grapes will stain your clothes. It'll look like blood. So the pure blood of the grape is how they referred to the pure grape juice. They drank that just like they drank goat's milk and kine. What's kine, Bethany? What's that word? Kine?
I thought that was cows.
It is. That's the old word for cows. It's kind of cute. We use the word beef. All right, but in the Bible, they'll refer to cows that were meant to be eaten as beeves, beeves. It's just an old way of saying beef. So sometimes the Old English has the words in there. If you just take a moment, that's beef. Those are beef cows, right? They're not milk cows. They're being grown to eat. Okay, just that was free. Declan, number 3.
Next page, is it? No. God's blessings are found in something wine. Proverbs 3:9-10. Proverbs 3:9-10. Honour the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine.
Can you imagine if God said, if you put me first, I'll give you whiskey out the window? No. He says, new wine. I'll get your grapes. I'll get a grape harvest so good that you'll have new wine just flowing through the streets of your village. So it's new wine. That is a blessing.
Not in fermented drinks. We shall study fermentation a little later on.
Yes. Number 4, Jeremiah.
Wine is compared to blood in the Bible, and God's people are supposed to only drink the black blood of the grape. Deuteronomy 29:6.
Go back there again.
Ye have not eaten bread, neither have ye drunk wine or strong drink, that ye might know that I am the Lord thy God.
Okay, now he mentions strong drink for a good reason, because what does strong drink? Give me an idea of what strong drink would be. That's not buttermilk. What's a strong drink?
Whiskey.
Just strong wine.
Yes, it's strong wine or strong any kind of alcohol. I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you pass by the off license, that off license is absolutely chock-a-block full of wines and strong drinks. Now they actually call it wines and spirits, which is very appropriate because it's the wrong spirit. But what happens when you drink wine or strong drink? What happens to your thinking? It's called, it intoxicates you. And toxic means it poisons you. But it stops you from being able to think clearly. That's why they won't let you drive. So if you're going to look at this, if you want to know that God is God, and if you want to trust him, don't turn to alcohol, because alcohol will get you into a la-la world of where you're not trusting God. You're just drunk. So a lot of people turn to alcohol for one reason. Why is it? Kind of a trick question, but it follows. Declan, what do you think?
Sorry,
Why do many people turn to alcohol? Why do they rely on alcohol?
that's their support.
It is.
Troubles come, so instead of doing what you should do and just committing yourself to God, they decide, well, we forget our troubles by having a few drinks.
And they don't know God. They don't know how to trust God. So a lot of times you deal with an alcoholic. What are you dealing with? Somebody who probably is ignorant of the goodness of God, of the stability that God offers. And he doesn't give you all that you want. But when you turn into alcohol, you're trying to escape. Whereas Christ gives you the strength to press on. That's a different whole thing. So there's a lot here. We got one more, 32:14 again. We saw this. Let's just read it again. 32:14.
Me again, is it? Or?
Yes. Well, no. Who read? No, that was Jeremiah.
Well, I've lost my place.
Wasn't Jeremiah reading?
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah was reading.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Butter of kine and milk of sheep with fat of lambs and rams of breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst give the pure blood of the grape.
So as I said, all of those things, buttermilk, sheep's milk, the fat, the best of the lambs, rams of the breed of Bashan, which was the best breed, and the goats with the fat, the best of the kidneys of wheat, the best production of wheat, and you drank the best drink, which was the blood of the grape. So this is God saying, when you were in the wilderness and you had nothing, there was no Tesco, there was no McDonald's, there was no steak restaurant. I took care of you. What did I give you? The best, didn't I? And he'll take care of you as well. All right, let's go on. Number 5, Gleb.
Yeah, new wine is a refreshing beverage, not intoxicating drink. Psalms 104, 13-15. He watereth the hills from his chambers. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of thy works. He causeth the grass to grow for the cattle, and herb for the service of men, that he may bring forth food out of the earth, and wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and oil to make his face to shine, and bread which strengtheneth man's heart. So if God makes wine, what kind of wine does he make? That maketh glad the heart of man.
Yeah, but what kind of wine?
So it's new wine?
It has to be new. Man makes alcoholic wine. Okay, God makes non-alcoholic wine. That's the point. Okay, so I've had Christians say, no, God gives us, and they mean Chardonnay, they mean a red wine or a white wine with your evening meal, that God gave us that. No, he gave you fresh grape juice. Okay, these are things that God, to make the heart, God makes that. Then man starts to modify it and try to think that he can make it better. Number 6, back to you, Bill.
Jesus drank new wine, I suppose. At the Last Supper, Jesus never drank alcoholic wine or strong drink.
Have you ever seen the mockeries of the Last Supper?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen pictures of people mocking it? What do they always do at the Last Supper in their picture or in their acting?
They're making him look drunk, I suppose.
They make them drunk.
Yeah.
Because that's how they mock what was holy, Jesus never sipped alcohol. None of his disciples did. And yet that's what they attack. So let's look at that. Matthew 26:29.
But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom.
Okay. So what kind of wine was he drinking at that moment?
Drink henceforth the fruit of the vine. At that moment, I presume it was new wine.
Because it was the fruit of vines.
Yeah,
That's grape juice.
yeah.
Grape juice comes from vines of grapes. And he says, and when I resurrect and we have our new kingdom starting, guess what kind of wine he will drink on that day?
New wine.
New wine, okay. So he's not going to exchange and go, okay, now it's okay for Christians to drink now that I'm up from the grave. Okay, let's do B there, Geraldine, and 1. Oh, keep going. B1 and A.
Okay, so fermented wine called old wine, what we call liquor. Old wine is made by man. It's not natural. Let's look at how fermented wine is made and what makes it old. It must be allowed to decay or spoil, as in the natural starches in the juice are allowed to break down from sugars and alcohol.
Into sugars and alcohol.
Into some,
Yeah, that's okay.
Into sugars and alcohol.
All right, let's keep going. We're learning about how, hopefully you're not going to take this home and try it, okay? B, Joanna.
The temperature and sugar content must be regulated. If the decaying process is not carefully controlled, then it will sour and be bitter, and therefore not enjoyed.
C, Bethany.
Yeast, leaven in the Bible, is added to enhance the decaying process. This is referred to as mingling wine with additional ingredients. Mingled wine may have sugars and other seasonings added during the fermentation process to enhance the flavor. Proverbs 23:29-30. Who hath woe, who hath sorrow, who hath contentions, who hath babbling, who hath wounds without cause, who hath redness of eyes?
Hold. Now, before you read any further, look at what is being asked. Who's the kind of person that has all those things? Okay, verse 30.
They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine.
Okay, so they're trying different flavors. They're trying different enhancements. Something's wrong with them that they just sit there and they tarry long, but they're drinking what's called mixed wine.
So they enhance the flavor for special meals.
Yeah, they want to. Yeah, I'm trying a red wine tonight. I'm trying a white wine. I don't know what all the things are. D there, Declan.
When kept under pressure, the resulting carbon dioxide from the fermentation is retained in the liquid until opened, producing a pop and resulting in carbonated bubbles, as well as the head on beers.
Okay, so all of that is the result of the fermentation process. Number 2, Jeremiah.
Old wine in the Bible is only used as a drug, not a refreshing beverage. 1 Timothy 5:10. Drink no longer water, but use a little wine for thy stomach's sake, and thine often infirmity.
Now, how do we know that that's alcoholic wine?
He says, use a little wine.
Okay, he doesn't say drink a little wine. He's saying use it. So if you got a cough and I said, use a little bit of this cough medicine, does that mean you should drink a whole glass of it? Okay, so somebody has said, I've had people say, well, maybe that is non-alcoholic. I don't know. It would be kind of foolish to have to tell somebody to drink a little bit of grape juice if your stomach's upset. I don't know what kind of stomach ailment Timothy had. Paul knew, and Paul said, I think a little bit of alcoholic wine will help you. And the fact he had to tell him to do it means that Timothy would not have done it unless he had somebody saying, use it as a medicine. Okay? So there's a time. Most people throughout history have not had a chemist. They have not had access to the millions of drugs that we have today. What they had leaves, herbs, they had poultices. You know what a poultice is? Does anybody know what a poultice anymore? You do, but you need to grow up and become a mom, and then you're going to find your kids' chesty congestion. You make a poultice for certain rashes, and you make a, what's that thing where you put the, it creates vapors. It's a rag that you soak in certain things. You place it on their chest. Today we put menthol and we put tea tree oil. But back then they had very basic medicines, and alcohol was one of them. If you had a river and people kept getting sick drinking from that river water, and that was your only source, they kept alcoholic wine or strong drink for one purpose, and that was when they scooped up that water and they had it in a barrel, they would pour that alcohol in there. It was very weak at the end, and it would kill off the bugs. It was the way that they survived. So they weren't drinking it to get any kind of intoxication. They were drinking it as a drug to clean the water. Let's look at the next one, Luke 10.
Luke 10. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him and bound up his wounds, poured him in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn and took care of it.
Okay, hold on. Who is he taking care of? Do you remember what what Jesus is describing?
There's a man that got robbed.
Yeah, and he was beat almost to death, and he's wounded, deeply wounded. So he has cuts on his body. You ever think, what killed most people until the 20th century? Warfare didn't kill people as much as people think. What actually killed them?
Infection.
The infection from the wounds. You stab somebody and then you walk away from them because they're going to die within the next week. It just was, infections were the big problem until they came up with penicillin and stuff. So here's somebody and he's got wounds. And you can't pour in grape juice. You can't put sugar drink on top of a wound. You put alcohol on the wound. Why?
We still do it. I mean, sterilize it, yes.
Yeah, sterilize. Although they didn't have pure alcohol, they had to use alcoholic wine. And it sterilized, or it got rid of, hopefully, the infection. They poured in oil. Anybody know why they would do that?
Soften it or something, soften the wound.
Could be.
The sunshine was bad, wasn't it, or something?
This guy's laying out in the sun for hours when he's finally found. His skin is cracked, and if you have cracked skin, you're dying because infection gets in that way. So he's moisturizing his face and whatever's been exposed, and he's pouring in oil and wine everywhere. Yes, maybe to soften where the wound is, but he's poured it everywhere so that his skin recovers. So they're using it as a medicine, not as, here, let me give you a shot of whiskey. Let's see. By the way, they did use whiskey in the Wild West, didn't they? Anybody know why?
If they were
Amputating a leg. Anyway, and you know, if you're in that type of situation, I'm not judging you. I mean, wow. But I'm glad for medicines today. Okay, verse number 3.
It is referred to as an intoxicating beverage because it has the power to render someone senseless or with less sense. Paul tells Timothy to drink a little wine.
Nope.
Use a little wine.
You remember. Good for you.
Not drink a little wine. Use it like you would a modern medicine. Old wine cleanses cuts and bruises and can be used to purify water under extreme circumstances. People kept it around for using, not drinking. You would never take glassfuls of medicines, yet people do with alcohol, and they do it to their hurt.
So, question. Gleb, did God's people have alcoholic wine or strong drink in their homes?
Probably yes. I mean, okay, that's a trick question. I mean, for medicine's sake, yes.
Yes. Don't freak out. They had to have it. It was their go-to medicine.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? When you got depressed, guess where people turned? They turned to that same bottle that was meant for medicine, and they would get drunk. So you had this battle of don't drink the medicine. I have known people who are drunkards who turn to different things in the medicine cabinet, and it kills them because they're looking for that alcohol effect, and they're drinking straight, pure alcohol, rubbing alcohol, medicinal alcohol, and they go blind. I understand. I don't know. So the point is, you may have stuff in your medicine cabinet that you would never just pass around and eat like candy. So God's people did have alcohol, but they used it. They did not drink it. That's the point, okay? Number 4. I think it's you, Bill.
Number 4. Fermented wine is only the beginning of a path that leads to stronger liquor. Alcoholic drink is never satisfying. Habakkuk, is it?
That's right, Habakkuk.
Yeah. Is that one of the smaller books?
One of the smaller books. If you go to Matthew and go left, you can find it slowly turning. I'm not even finding it. Good night. Give me that.
Back there. After Nahum.
Yeah. It does get lost in the process there. Like a Nahum. Habakkuk. Here we go. Okay.
Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but garners unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Now, this is a man that is, this is a bad guy. And he sins by wine. He's a proud man, can't stay at home. He doesn't want to keep the farm. He enlarges his desire as hell. He just keeps growing. And he is as death and cannot be satisfied. Do you know if you're thirsty, is alcohol a good thing to drink when you're thirsty? Come on, mark it down. You don't drink alcohol when you're thirsty. The second worst thing to drink when you're thirsty is a Coke. Even though all the advertising is, chug it down, it'll quench your thirst. It doesn't.
But alcohol dehydrates you, doesn't it?
That's exactly. And you have to drink a lot of water to counteract it. Okay. So it never satisfies. Number 5, Geraldine. 5 and A.
Old wine is only permitted to be drank in the following situations: when about to blank, to not worry and be able to ignore pain and past haunting memories. So Proverbs 31:4-7. So it is 31:4-7. It is not for kings or Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more.
Wow. So we're dealing with somebody who is seriously depressed, or he's about to die.
I would think that is the worst thing to give someone who is seriously depressed. You get more depressed.
It does. But again, compassion. When people are depressed, guess what doctors do? They give them medication. They try to get them through the hump. And you're not giving it to them so that they now rely on it forever. But if somebody's trying to kill themselves, if somebody just doesn't want to live, then okay, what it'll do is it'll help you go to sleep. It'll have some sort of medicinal We're dealing with a culture that had very few strong medicines. And so it's definitely not for kings. It's definitely not for anybody who has responsibility for helping people, making decisions. But if somebody is making very bad, maybe they're cutting themselves, maybe they're trying to kill themselves, maybe they are dying of cancer. Okay, then use it as a medicine. So yeah, I agree. I hope that I never have to, when I'm in pain, that I never have to go to morphine. But guess what? When I'm in pain, you know what the doctor's going to say? Would you like some morphine? I'll go, bring it on. And the alcohol was the only thing.
When I was suicidal, one thing I didn't turn to was drink. I thought it
Good.
would make me worse.
It would.
I believed in a clean.
Clean death? Okay. But go ahead. I'm just sitting there telling you this is what the Bible says. And when you're in a situation, and I've never been in it, where I would go and say, let's go get them a drink. I can't do that. But if in the situation you realize this person hasn't slept for 3 days, and I've known people who have gone into an emotional cycle in their head that they can't sleep and they need something. And so that's where it comes in. Okay. Ooh, let's go on. Number B, 1. Oh, did you do A?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a medicine, alcoholic wine could be used as a psychological drug. Proverbs 31:16. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that feel heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more.
I'll say this. This is not for somebody who is depressed to go get a drink. It is somebody who's trying to manage somebody else's depression or whatever's overwhelming them. Maybe they just lost their wife or their firstborn, and they can't go on. They're not breathing. And you're wondering, what can I do? And they're not coming out of it. The point is, sometimes you have to do what you wouldn't do under normal situations. Okay? And then, go ahead. So it's a psychological drug.
To calm an overburdened mind, like easily sleeping.
That's what it is. And then woman number 2, Bethany.
A physical drug. 1 Timothy 5:23.
Now we looked at these, it's just hammering it, going, all right, I understand there is a use for it.
Drink no longer water, but use a little wine for the stomach's sake, and then often infirmities. And then Luke 10:34. They went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn and took care of him. To ease pains and clean out wounds.
That's it. All right, see there, Declan?
Important note, there are so many better medicines today than the use of alcoholic drink that are designed to address pain or infection and are controlled in their dispensing so that people can't easily abuse them like they can drink.
Would you agree it'd be great that if somebody wanted an alcoholic drink, they should go to the chemist and get it dispensed by the spoonful? Meaning that it'd be really nice if it was totally controlled like they control all other substances. So,
Someone, when my brother was a baby, someone did prescribe for him some kind of alcohol. I don't remember what the ailment was for, but
I had a very high temperature. I had several high temperatures when I was a kid. And one of them, my mom was told by the doctor to go buy an alcoholic drink called Cold Duck. I don't know what it is. Poured it in the bathtub because my temperature wouldn't break. The doctor on the phone says, get some of this, put it in there, and drop him in there and let it cool him off. And it was an alcoholic bath is what it was. I didn't drink it, but it was used as a medicine. And I'm still here today. So yeah, so next one, number D, Jeremiah.
So unless you're living on a deserted island somewhere with no medicines except alcoholic drink, there's no need for alcoholic drink in your home or life, period.
Amen. Okay? We don't need to have alcoholic drink in our homes now anymore. Number 6.
The love of old wine is wrong. Proverbs 21:17. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich.
Do some people love alcoholic wine?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's very strong. I have found when somebody says, should I drink? And if I say no, it's like telling them to stop breathing. It's like, I've been drinking since I've been 14. And it's just very hard. It's very strong, human natural desire. Keep going.
And is therefore a fleshy lust that 1 Peter 2:11. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against the soul.
So there are some things that my flesh lusts for that actually hurt my soul. Okay? So that's something I need to war against if I have a desire for alcohol. I have talked to people who were alcoholics before they got saved. They get saved, they get the victory, so on and so forth. And guess what goes through their mind when they think of alcohol? They miss it. They can still taste it. They wish they could go back to it for a brief moment sometimes. So what do you do? What do you do? You war against it. Now, doesn't mean everybody's like that. I've known people who just as soon as they got saved, alcohol taste like gravel to them. They couldn't pick it up again, couldn't drink it anymore. They had been actually perfectly delivered, I would say. But there are some who just say, man, when I look back, that was fun. But I war against that knowing it was damning. Yes, ma'am.
Why is it there are some people who get saved and are free of alcohol, but they always have this kind of, their viewpoint seems a little skewed? You know, like it's negative?
At what? Negative of?
Generally, just kind of...
On life itself? You think that they just become angry? Or I guess I'm trying to find out how they were skewed. Skewed which way?
I'm not sure, but it's not a good, it's not positive. They have this kind of twisted...
Because their mind was messed with. And your mind doesn't recover. There are people who go on to heavy drugs, and when they get saved and they never pick up another line of cocaine or never do any more injections of heroin, they wonder, why can't I sleep at night? Why is it my mind just blanks out and I have to be yelled at to come back into reality? Why am I like this? Because God saves us from the punishment of sin, but the effects are still there. Okay, here's a drunkard, and he's been drinking since he's been 14, and he's 57 years old, and he's in dialysis, and he gets saved. God does not fix his liver. Sometimes maybe he does. I don't know. All I know is he's going to have to deal with the consequences. So why do some people come out of alcoholism or any kind of drug, and they're not perfectly fixed? The joy of the Lord is there, but they are battling against the fact they just don't have all their faculties anymore. Okay, so that's a warning to the next generation. The next generation needs to go and see what are the results of living the way that all the Hollywood lives. Nobody ever, everybody follows Hollywood, but they never categorize and go, let's see what's it's like being rich and famous as an actor. See how much they hate life, how much they fail at marriage, how much they fail at even just they can't even get out of their house. Okay. Last, number 6.
Yeah, I'll just finish it off. It keeps the person from ever conquering sin and self and being able to be filled with the Spirit. Ephesians 5:18. Be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit.
Notice what it's contrasted with. Wine.
Spiritual things.
Yeah. Okay. We'll try to finish down C. Back to you, Bill.
See, liquor and immoral.
Nope. Strong drink.
Where are we?
Above B. Above your big B. The results you want to do. The word strong drink.
No, I'm too far down. A strong drink like whiskey and rum is harder drink than alcohol wines and beers. These drinks have been referred to as spirits due to all of the extra alcohol that is added to them for greater polish.
And last one, Geraldine.
So hard liquor is a picture of God's wrath and judgment on the nation. Psalm 75:8. Psalm 75:8. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them.
So this cup has mixed wine, and the dregs thereof, which is the dregs are saturated with all of the alcohol that's in that is concentrated in the dregs, which is the bottom bits. And God makes the wicked drink the strength of that wine as part of his wrath. So we're going to stop there. We may look at, but if you want to look at Matthew 26 and 18, Revelation 14, every time God talks about strong drink, he says, it's part of my judgment on a nation. It's not a blessing. All right.